Saturday, 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 Saturday night's alright. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday afternoon special. And I felt very Brechtian there, had to burst into radiant song. Those of you in the performing arts will understand. Those of you not in the performing arts, congratulations on having a real job. I've been having a worldwide Western super mare, i.e. nightmare, this week, guys, trying to get on some kind of even keel. It's been double dollops every other day, followed by nothing. I promised to try and get back on some kind of consistent level, but Friday was no exception. No upload, and I managed to find a few hours today out of my busy schedule of doing nothing to squeeze in another replay. So here it is. It's going to be a ladder match. It's going to be a clan ladder match, and it's going to take place on Fields of Thunder. So let's head on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So up here, the top left, in the red corner, it's RA's Zlo, formerly Zlord, and if I refer to him as Lord more often than not, please forgive me, but he was Lord for a long time, and that's how I'll probably always see him. Anyway, going his very, very customary Cybran, don't think I've ever seen him play anything else, and he's throwing together a land factory first of all, adjacent single PGen, then the 3 mexes, and then I think we'll probably more than likely see more PGens. Let's take a look at his opponent, though. Down here, also for RA, and also going Cybran, so it's a mirror matchup. It's RA's Mad Mozart, and also doing a very similar build, with the exception, actually, he's throwing in another PGen first before switching into the 3 mexes, so a little bit more conventional that way round. But I wonder if we're going to see some alternations in style. Often you see it with clan matches, people doing a little bit more inventive stuff rather than just playing the percentages. More often than not, these guys tend to know each other's style. If they're in the same clan, they might play with each other a lot more, so they have to think outside the box a little bit more. But anyway, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th factory, all land there for Zlord. Whereas we've got an air factory going 2nd there for Mozart. So if we're going to see any super early air on the field, it's going to be out of the blue corner, more than likely. Once he finishes that Hydra, I suspect he's going to be working on it. And it was a little bit more expansionist opening there from Zlord as well. It looked like 3 NGs right off the bat, and then at least 1 Mantis. Whereas I think we had 2 NGs out from Mad Mozart, followed by this Mole and Mantis, and he's slowly adding to this little group. The odd Mantis coming together, probably wants to get to 4, 5, 6, something like that, and then go a roaming, looking for engineers, looking for other small groups of Mantis to potentially overpower with that number. But we've got a scout plane out, and he's going for a Jester. There we go. So that Jester's going to cause all kinds of problems. And Zlord has rearranged his build order. Thank goodness that he has. That will give him a lot more flexibility getting that air factory in place. So that's 4th air, and that's a lot better situation to be in when you're under Jester attack. Those suckers can go everywhere, picking off your engineers, nailing your mexes. Incredibly irritating. Of course, this is only a 5x5k map, Fields of Thunder, so it's not like you have as much ground to be aware of, but nonetheless, air can always be troublesome. And out comes that Jester, flying straight overhead of that group of Mantis there, but ignoring it, firing a couple of bolts and hunting out, seeking out instead this top engineer. There's another engineer over here, but instead he's going to focus down a Mex. Meanwhile, a couple of Mantis down here for Zlord, scoring a nice kill on that engineer, going to prevent that Mex from being completed. That Mex up the top for Zlord has finally been destroyed. In comes a defending interceptor, though, to deal with that Jester. The only problem is there is now an escorting interceptor coming in to finish off Zlord's Inti, and I think Mozart's going to be successful there, allowing that Jester to continue on its sortie with just 254 HP on the clock, but it's enough to cause some more damage. That Mex gets taken out, and now finally Sky Slammers appear on the scene, as well as another interceptor. That's going to be the end of that Jester. What, if anything else, is cooking out of Mozart's corner? He's focusing mainly on interceptors for the moment. But looking at how things have gone, the Jester hasn't bought Mozart a huge advantage. In fact, for the moment at least, Zlord seems to be on top of the eco. It was 13-9. Suddenly drops back, but that is a huge bottleneck on power. Mozart is suffering at the moment, so he needs to get some NGs on the case there, start spamming up some power ASAP. You can see the click and drag line there going down at the right edge of the map. But both ACUs have made their way to the middle. Mozart throwing an auto gun together in place. That's going to discourage Zlo from hanging out so close to the middle and potentially give him a little bit of control, but not for long. There is a Medusa on the scene, and that looks like it's going for the ACU at the moment, but he should be able to deal with that auto gun without any major problems. Mozart content to exchange a few blows there with Zlord's ACU. And a little bit of a push up top there for Mozart, chasing down this northern group of Mantis for Zlord. That's a nice pick up there. He definitely had the numbers and he was aware of that. He's scoring at least 2-to-1 kills there thanks to his formation and the excess numbers that he was carrying. Managed to take out an engineer and a Mex as well. So Mozart jumping into the lead on the mass front, 19-13, looking pretty good so far at 6.5 minutes. More Sky Slammers up top, biting the dust there, and instead Zlord is going to wheel round and try a counter-attack at the bottom. The only problem is there is now an auto gun in place, so no major victories to be had down there. Zlord has, however, managed to use those Medusas to good effect. That auto gun has been taken out in the middle, and Mozart's taken a little bit more fire on the con there from Zlord. It's 7,200 HP to 8,900. So Zlord not losing on every front by any way, shape or form, but nonetheless quite an impressive start there from Mozart. Of course, we were discussing earlier that these guys are going to know each other's style, but you look at the amount of ladder ranking points that Mozart is giving up to Zlord in this one. It is 300 ladder ranking points. Believe me, the difference between a 1,700 player and a 2,000 player is pretty huge generally. So Mozart playing very well here indeed. It's nice to see the top pros getting a little bit of a game every now and again from someone a little bit lower down. Not that I'm calling Mozart lower down at all. It might be just that he doesn't play that much ladder compared to the global ranking. I'll tell you exactly what his global ladder ranking is off the top of my head, so you can never 100% rely on that. But look at this, 2 mechs under threat again, and luckily there were a couple of Medusas at the back of that pack of units there for Mozart, firing a couple of rounds behind them as they went. I thought that mechs had been left online. That would have been a critical error, but no, Mozart manages to pick that up. Even numbers of interceptors on the field now for both these guys, and Zlord hovering over the middle with his. Mozart content to keep his back on his side of the map, but we are seeing the emergence of T2 on the field. There's a T2 engineer here, which he could do with holding on to, but he's not going to manage it. That's way too far forward. Look at this little run by here, really threatening the front of Zlord's base. That's a land factory that has been upgraded to T2, and that is a tech advantage, I would say, there for Zlord. Not seeing any T2 factories on the field at the moment for Mozart. However, I think we are seeing more of them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 land factories, including the T2 there for Zlord. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So an extra 2 factories. Yes, he's yielding tech, but his spam is looking good. And we'll see if the lack of factories coupled with the timing on that tech upgrade actually works against Zlord in this one. He's still holding on to a decent-ish corner of the map, and now that he's got hoplites on the field, he can start to push out, use that range advantage. But 29 mass to 15, that is quite the deficit that Zlord is operating on at the moment. And Mozart content to reclaim that auto gun, use that mass instead of trying to re-establish it. I guess he feels he's got enough T1 on the field, but look at this. That looked like a Jester that went down briefly there. Definitely air dominance on the field at the moment for Mozart. I wonder if that could be key. Might be an idea for him to switch up to some more Jesters or Bombers or something like that. But we're also seeing T2 on the field now for Mozart, so that tech advantage has gone for Zlord, apart from the fact, of course, that he already has a handful of hoplites in play. And now we're seeing a Cerberus turret thrown together. It's taken a lot of fire in the construction. You can see the flame... actually, sorry, it was actually online. It's firing away there at a piece of ground that really upset it earlier. But getting some handy rep work there from all of the Mantis. Such a useful secondary function there on those units. And Hoplites shadowing this group of Mantis here for Mozart, firing volleys, picking up what kills they can. Zlord going to engage with his troops while moving in with his comm at the same time. What, if anything, is Mozart doing during this engagement? He's chilling back here with his comm. He's building Cerberus turrets himself. Wonder if we're going to get a bit of a point defense creep on. It looks like that's the aim of the game for the moment. He's keeping Zlord on his toes with attacks with large groups of T1, and for the moment, if we can use that to gain some territory and then hold on to the territory with Cerberus turrets, it's not a bad plan. The problem is Zlord is starting to pick up a critical mass of T2 units on the field now. And I think that's Rhinos under construction on that T2 factory for Mozart. Mozart also throwing together an upgrade on the commander. Cerberus turrets not being put together perhaps as fast as Mozart would like. And Zlord has caught up nicely. There's a real lot of jostling around here between these guys in terms of who's leading on mass. You've got Mexes going pop left, right and center. Cheeky little Mantis down there. Zlord just getting picked up. But yeah, this is still anyone's to win at this point. And this is turning into a brutal little fire base here for Zlord. 4 Cerberus turrets, soon to be a shield gem. We've got a radar in place. Now some Vipers are turning up on the field. That's going to add some ranged, extra ranged sting to that base. Question is, what's Mozart doing? Take a look at what he's got on that comm. Could be the T2 engineering suite, but he's using engineers to reasonable effect at the moment. Could be the gun upgrade. We'll take a look at just a second. In just a second. Viper's moving forward there for Mozart. And that upgrade finishing, and another one going. What have we got here? So that's the gun upgrade, and he goes straight for another one. Only assume that that's something like the stealth field. And Zlord's going to want to get some zappers in place. You can immediately see him spamming some up there at the front. Needs to counteract this Viper spam. There's not a lot coming out of this side for Zlord. Yes, he's down 8 mass per tick at the moment. Starting to produce more Vipers, and that's actually what we saw earlier. Sorry, I said I thought he was producing Rhinos. It wasn't. That's the Viper icon. Would make sense as to why we haven't seen any emerge on Mozart's side. Mozart just casually moving forward with the commander there. Decent rate of fire, just hardcore depleting that shield generator, going straight after that Cerberus turret. And you can see none of the Cerberus turrets primarying Mozart's comm because the stealth gen working wonders there. Nice overcharge, picks up 3 Vipers. Someone said the other day, haven't ever heard me say horrible overcharge. So overcharges are generally nice. Fun to watch multiple units go pop all at the same time. Zlord about to take a lot of fire. What's he suddenly got though?
Commander
Glean
under attack.
That position. Suddenly those Cerberus turrets opened up. For a moment there, perhaps Mozart strayed into visual range. Such a useful little upgrade, that personal stealth generator, and it's cheap as well. Really is cheap. I don't mean that in the pejorative sense. I mean it in the economic sense. And an attempt at a run by or a push up here for Mozart, moving right up to the top of the map. He's got a decent amount of units here. He's got a nice mix in there as well. We've got Wagner's, we've got a lot of Mantis, got a few Medusa in there, going to be able to deal with these structures. Wants to take out those two auto guns. He's got some Vipers kicking around back here. He can bring them up around the side to knock out that little position, but not going to get any traction on the run by. I don't think he's stuck really close to the top of the map to try and get in, but we've got T3 emerging on the field now. That Loyalist will pummel everything that makes its way in here. No chance of any joy there, and a Trebuchet in the mix, so that was obviously first off the bat for Zlord. He wants to try and harass Mozart as best he can. Mozart getting a lot of Vipers in play now. How many zappers does Lord have up here? 3. Seems like enough to counteract that flow of Viper missiles. Doesn't seem like there's any real damage being deployed onto the shields. I might have spoken too soon. He's got a critical mass now. Those zappers starting to fail on the amount of missiles coming in, and the shield will collapse. Going after the front Cerberus turrets first. Mozart can come in now with the commander, just start pummeling away. Wall section's doing their job though. Very nicely indeed. Taking a look at the mass situation, Mozart way ahead. He's holding on to 50% of the map in terms of his control, but he's also preventing Zlord from getting 50%, the 50% that's left. Loyalist posturing up front. He's got 3 of them. It's probably enough to thin this out, certainly enough to send these back. He's going to be concerned though, of course, about Mozart's commander. Overcharges can ruin the day there, and boom goes the Trebuchet. There's another one further back here, but that little fire base has been decimated. Very nice work from Mozart. Very strong play in this one. And now we've got T3 on the field as well for Mozart, so that once again that tech advantage for Zlord coming first, but being taken away from him before he can make use of it. Mozart's ACU is way over here. He needs to move it right if he wants to save this merry band of Mantis. They're getting harvested by these Loyalists. But instead he's going to continue to press. He moves the group back. And the Loyalist trying to shed some HP off Mozart's commander there. Takes him down to around 50% or so. Very nasty little engagement indeed. He's taking Trebuchet fire on top of it, down to 3,400 HP. I don't really know why Zlord isn't continuing to press Mozart here. Mozart going down to 1,200 hit points. Ah, beautiful overcharge here. Might just get him out of it. 900 hit points. Oh my god. And the perfect timing on the veterancy rank up there. Takes him back up into the yellow, but only just 3,600 HP on the clock. He wants to back out now before any more stuff comes his way. And now we're seeing some Jester production out for Zlord. He knows he's got Mozart down very low. He knows the ACU is sitting in the middle there. He's going to continue to harass with Trebuchet fire. Trouble is, how on earth is he going to get any traction with any air units? I'll look at the amount of interceptors in the middle there for Mozart. Those Jesters will be pummeled in like 2 or 3 passes as soon as he reveals them. And still Mozart taking fire, unable to get past that kind of 3.5k mark in the tank. And now bricks are turning up for Mozart. That might have been Zlord's only opportunity there, barring some miraculous snipe now. Loyalists still being produced there for Zlord, now finding their match. Meeting their match against those bricks. In come the Jesters, there's 4 of them, but there's a lot of interceptors in place for Mozart, and they barely get a shot off onto the ACU there. We've got one hero, Trebuchet, that's trying to chase down the commander, but of course he's got no intel on the commander's location at all. Mozart just wandering back to base. The only intel he has now is this Jester. But that doesn't last too long, and slowly Mozart climbing back to better health. And Zlord now looking completely shut down. He's got a Dragonfly together. He's going to pick up his commander. What's he got on the commander is the question. No T2 engine. He's got nothing, really. I was thinking maybe this was some cunning T3 drop. He's got a Loyalist with him, so he wants to drop right on top of the commander if he can, help to overcharge, or maybe at the very least force a draw, but he's got to get past all these interceptors first. Where's he heading? You see the waypoints being changed there. He's coming in for the plateau. Mozart has seen it. Those interceptors are homing in. He's not going to make it and gets popped on the way in. Gutsy move by Zlord, but look at that unit streaming into his base as we speak. It was the only way he was going to be able to grab a win or at least a tie. So you got to respect the effort. 24-minute game, not the longest, but pretty exciting. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. More to come, as always, from me in the future, guys. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.